Basically, in that year, we've nearly rebuilt the entire company. Now, at this point, I would say, wow, that mindset, that way of thinking, that way of approaching things, that's a major change. That's what I for sure will remember in 10 years. That's a transition that gives you goosebumps. I'm Koen Heyns. I'm COO at Intigriti, via one of our product managers. She basically enrolled for an education at dualoop. She was really positive and said, okay, you need to talk. We needed to scale, and we wanted to scale in a sustainable way. We want to get rid of the last-minute priorities. That's where we started to work on a vision, started to work on organizational design. We needed to step away from building the solution we thought we knew to actually facing the problem and understanding the problem and knowing what the outcome was rather than the next step in the build. What makes us unique? What's the USP? We couldn't answer it. We wanted to answer it. And that's where we said, okay, we need to have that change. That's where we engaged with dualoop because we wanted to move into product leadership. We were champion at customer intimacy. That's where we were. That's where the deals were. But by growing into Series B, that did not allow us to scale as fast and as big as we wanted. We had the product organization embedded in the engineering team. We had sales talking to customers and transmitting the message to product and engineering. Customer success, same thing. Technical success, same thing. You name it. All inputs were second-hand and it was embedded in engineering. So a rising concern of basically having the product development team isolated from the rest of the organization on one hand. And on the other hand, it infused a top-down decision-making structure that said, okay, product and engineering needs to work on X, Y, or Z. So that didn't help us either. And by consequence of that, the main job of the current product managers or product owners, I should say, was mainly to say no, and was really experienced as Mr. and Mrs. No, which made it very unhealthy even to continue in that path. And at that point, we looked at, okay, this can't be what we're aiming for. This can't be how we can scale in the future. And the main concern was really, okay, how do we start innovating more? How do we start collaborating more? How do we actually grasp the market trends and the market needs rather than having the ad hoc fire extinguisher reflex and just go for that single contract? The combination of hands-on coaching on the floor and the knowledge and the expertise you guys have in the field, the combination of both, that's what got us on board. Yeah. The measurable improvements is basically the fact that at this point we are able to have tangible product management on a longer term. We embrace the uncertainty of the longer horizon just to focus on the value that we can bring and that we are okay with shifting that value wherever that goes. The reflex of data, we're building it. You notice that if we take decisions, the reflex is getting there to make it tangible, which in the end lead to a roadmap that drives ARR, a roadmap that drives business outcome. Basically, in that year, we've nearly rebuilt the entire company because we were going from Series A to Series B. We had other needs. We had another strategy. We had a strategy. To tailor for that, we really needed to tend to the full organization, in which the product and engineering part was a part of the plan. And that's where I really could hand over to you, to the team, to say, okay, you manage that, and I'll manage the surroundings. We made that marry quite seamlessly, and then that's a big help because at that point we did not have someone in the product team to take that role, nor the knowledge, nor the experience, nobody was there at that point. The introduction of usability testing, the introduction of data gathering, formulating the success factors prior to building it and then validating afterwards, or validating necessity prior to building even. Those were all new concepts to us, both in design but also in engineering. We were really fit and tailored to solve a problem we knew with a solution that we felt was the right one. And at that point we started analyzing, building, testing, shipping, and the quality measure was in the lack of bugs in production. That's where we were happy. Where now the first step is basically exploring the problem, looking at, is this a problem we even want to solve in a valuable way? Is this needed now? Pocking it, and then deciding on the remainder values in the actual outcome, not in the stability of the code. So I had a lot of fun doing that. So that's a tremendous leap that we took there. Practically immediately. We're not at the habit of being a slow-paced environment, so we kind of expect fast value, but we certainly did. There's several. We had a meeting with the full leadership team. We're finally able to bring a presentation and say, okay, hey guys, let's look at the product at this point. This is what we look at as to customer value, as to marketing value, as to USPs, as to unique aspects of what we're going to do in the coming 2 years. The fact that we could draw that line, have everybody in the room aligning on what we were doing and feeling valued by us doing that. The fact that we could embrace the uncertainty of the later part and not expect a Gantt chart with a 2-year plan, which never would come true. We were there in the beginning. And the fact that we now can company-wide explain what we're doing and what makes us unique at doing that and how we're going to win from competition, that's a major change. And that was nearly the best moment in the collab for me. The scariest moment is because the moment when you engage on converting what you do to a new approach, moving into product management, moving into that mindset. It's not introducing a new process. It's not about introducing a new structure. It's not about introducing a new toolkit or whatsoever. It's a fundamental change. The people aspect in that cannot be underestimated. The moment where it's to go there and to advocate for the change, and by all means, it's 1000% the best option that we needed to take. But the way forward does imply flexibility on people, does imply stress on people, does imply coaching, and does imply people to say, hey, this is not for me, I'm out. And every single time again, if that happens, it's the right thing to do. You support the people, you coach them, you help them towards their goal. But at some point, you have to identify that that goal is no longer alive. It was very enriching. I will remember the impact it had on the entire company. To see you practice what you preach, everything you do, I say, okay, make it small, focus on what's valuable, decompose things into small entities, and that kind of things. That mindset, that way of thinking, that way of approaching things and making the problem smaller and tangible, that's what I for sure will remember in 10 years. Yes, for sure I will do it again, immediately. Yeah.